Bleh.
Oh, we're live. Let me go.
Like a glove, man, like a glove. Hey, Michael.
Hey,
What's up,
speaking
man?
of gloves, you seem to have an extra finger.
Yeah, I do. Look at this. It's like an appendage.
It's like an
Look at that.
appendage. Well, you have a pretty appendage sticking out of your head there. Hi,
Yeah.
pretty
And-
appendage. What's your name?
London.
London. I know you, don't I? We've met. Yes. All right, London. I sometimes I look up words and I don't know what they mean. You want to help me figure out what a word is?
Yes.
Okay. There's a word, and if you've heard it before, that would be awesome because I haven't really heard it before. So maybe you can help me. This word. Are you ready for this word? Okay. The word is cattywampus. Have you ever heard of the word cattywampus before, London?
No.
No. Hey, London, pay no attention to the man next to your ear. Have you ever... Do you think you know what the word cattywampus means?
Nope.
Is it a funny sounding word?
Yeah.
All right. What if I were to say this? Like, have you ever had something that was like, all right. The stuff in this room where I am, it's all cattywampus. I can't find anything. So what do you... I said that to you. What do you think cattywampus means based on all the other words around it?
You cannot find anything in your room.
So, but I can't find it because it's cattywampus. So if I asked you to replace cattywampus with another word, what word do you think you could put in place of cattywampus?
Blank.
you
Well,
would do that?
But cattywampus. Everything's all cattywampus in here. I can't find anything.
Look, see, like that's all cattywampus. What does that look like to you?
A big blank pile.
Is it nice
Is it like
and
notes? It's like notes, isn't it?
Yeah, but what if it was just anything, like toys and everything? Just it could be
like
anything.
if your
I have a
room
whole
wasn't
stack of
clean.
toys.
Yeah.
I have a whole stack of toys that you can't find anything in.
Right, because it's a big what?
Mess.
Yay, I'll go for that. Cattywampus could be like a mess or something that's not straight and next to each other. It's all cattywampus. I like that.
Before.
Right. So, like, if a hurricane rolled through an area or a tornado, it would make everything all
Cattywampus.
There you go.
There you go. We'll go for that. I like that. Hey, London. Usually, like, there's something we do right after this, and I don't know what it is. Maybe you could help me because I'm not allowed to do it until I'm told to do it.
Start the show.
All right.
From the bowels of downtown Baltimore, from the curb with Sam and Lumpy, ears still bleeding from sirens, it's time for the MythWits, the show dedicated to all things geek pop culture, drenched in absurdity, infected with a child, and coated with sarcasm. Every week we bring you the news and interviews from the Gigaverse. We do our darndest to be funny, but there are no guarantees. I'm your host, Peter Bryant. Joining me this week is Mike Capus.
Hi-yo!
And for the next minute or two, my daughter,
London
Bryant.
Nice. My favorite daughter in the world.
Yeah, she wanted to jump in on the show for a few minutes, so I told her she could. She hears about my show all the time.
Well, I've been in a few.
She's made a quick little mini appearance in a few, but this is her first speaking engagement. So
Yay!
so I thought I'd bring her on for a few minutes.
Nice.
All right, but we're going to talk about Baltimore, about Balticon, as it were. Balticon 50. Mike and I went this weekend, and we have a few stories. We have some friends we want to talk about, some events that went on. We thought we'd share that with the audience, and then later on this evening, we're going to talk a little bit about some shows we've been watching and a little movie that came out recently.
What is it?
Spoil Fest.
What's that? It'll be a spoil fest. Civil War, Captain America.
Oh yeah, I remember that movie so much.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
Did you-
good. Yeah,
did you like
Hey,
it? Did you like? Did she saw it?
Yeah, we took her to see it.
London. Did you like it?
Loved it.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well, before you go, because you're not going to be part of that discussion because it happened too late, you got to go to bed. Who was your favorite superhero character? Who did you like?
And show your face. I can't see you behind that big bulbous microphone.
Who did you like?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. He was your favorite,
Because he just stood up out of nowhere.
right?
I think he
Was he
was my
funny?
favorite.
He's
Yeah,
like-
he was my favorite too. I agree.
He was good. All right, baby. Say goodnight to everybody. It's time to go to bed.
Bye.
All right.
Bye,
love you,
sweetie
Pumpkin.
pie. I love you.
All right. Take your juice.
Take
with
your
you.
gin and
Good
juice.
night.
Bye.
See you later, baby. All right, everybody. I'm going to hook my headphones in real quick, Mike. Keep them busy for just a second while I do that.
Hi. Thank you. This is we went to Balticon. We definitely hung out with some people that we enjoyed hanging out with. It was unfortunate there were a few people that weren't able to make it that we do enjoy hanging out with. So would like to just give props out that people that we already knew weren't going to go, which was T and Pip, assholes. And so we just wanted to say that we will miss them, and hopefully they will make it next year. We realized that Scott Sigler and A. Kovacs weren't there. Let's see. Who else was not there, Pete, that we missed?
Oh, man. Stephen Grenade did not make it this
that's
year.
right. Yep, Stephen Grenade didn't make it. And
No Rob.
well, yeah, Mr. Rob. I think there's some dissonance between George and the Balticon planners, which I certainly understand. I guess if we're okay, should we do this thing?
Hold on. And
Wait.
one of our favorites, Donna Mugavero. She wasn't there. She couldn't make it.
So in other words, who we saw walking through the hall, that was not her there?
I don't think so. It was somebody that resembled her.
Okay.
But I caught her just out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, me
Right.
too. I thought it
And-
might have been her. But then again, she wasn't hanging out with anyone that we would usually know her to hang out with, so I guess that would be why.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is my thought. There are a lot of positives about Balticon, and then there are some negatives, and then more positives. So I'm thinking maybe what we should do is sandwich. Should we make a positive, negative, positive sandwich?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Good idea.
So first and foremost, I think that we should talk about why we went this year more than any other reason first, and that would be like our panel that we actually did. Are you good with that? Talking about that as being
Yeah.
for me, it was the best part.
Yeah, sure. That was the highlight, I think,
Okay.
for us. I
right.
mean, it wasn't the greatest moment in Balticon history for anybody other than us. But
maybe
yes.
you know what? Maybe one other little girl about your daughter's age. I think that I made had a decent connection with her. May have maybe we had an impact on her.
Oh yeah, no, she was cool. Right. So we did MythWits live at Balticon. Yay, that's cool.
Yay.
We got to do a live show in front of an audience, a live performance type audience at
Yeah.
Balticon, which is cool.
And
We've
I
done
was
it at
thinking-
TotalCon, but that's
Exactly. I was thinking, last night on the way home, wow, our first time ever. And I was like, you know what? That is incorrect. I don't want to take away from 2 times that we've done it at TotalCon. However, we could say that combined, the audience, just in members, even though they would have been the same members each year, just in total plumage of audience members. We had double that in our first one at Balticon. And again, not to say anything about TotalCon, we're gonna, we'll see if we can't make something else like that, different at TotalCon. But it was an amazing experience. There was actually desks and people, watching us. We've had problems even at GaryCon where we couldn't even have a proper panel. So
Right.
it felt right. Our co-panelists felt right. The content felt that it flowed well. And I don't know, what else did you want to add to it? Why don't you maybe talk about what we talked about, because it's a interesting juxtaposition to what we've ever presented in a live or broadcast show.
Yeah, so we have scientists on from time to time, and we'd like to have more. We're working on it. We're working very hard to get more scientists on. Not that we don't like helping RPG people kickstart their projects. We do enjoy doing that, but that's that. I only want that to be part of our show. I want to make sure that we get some science and some artists and all that kind of stuff in. So we went down the sciencey route this time, but sciencey in a very specific kind of bend. Is it bend or bent when you say that?
Yes.
Okay, so we went down. We got together with a couple skeptics, and we kind of did a skeptics panel. It was sort of like, it was sciencey, but sciencey in a personal way. I mean, it was a kind of an opinion piece. The panel was about living life without superstition. So if you're a person who doesn't believe in any kind of supernatural, any kind of supernatural thing, like if you throw away, you say, look, I don't believe that there's anything supernatural in the world at all, and this is how I live my life with that thought pattern, which is how Mike and I both do, and the two panelists that we had also. We put this disclaimer on that panel, and we'll put it down here right now. It wasn't a discussion of whether we were right or wrong, or whether it was better or not. It's just, that's how we are, and this is how we go through life. And we were explaining that because, a vast majority, I think, of the people in this world have some sort of, supernatural belief system, from one degree to another. If you believe, and to clarify what that means, if you believe in ghosts, if you believe in souls, if you believe in karma or luck or sin or love being some kind of, more than just chemicals firing through your brain.
Arbitrarily, I would just like to take this moment, not having anything to do with what Pete said. I would just like to say, Mom, I love you. Please continue, Pete.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. If you believe in those things, which I think most people in society do, at least statistically, right? You must wonder how those of us who don't go through everyday life with, no belief system. Like, oh, what, when you die, you're not going to heaven? That's how you live. How do you deal with that?
It's not that we go through life with no belief system, but it's how does our belief system, how do we function in our lives? How does that impact, how does our belief system sort of impact our behaviors and how we do cope?
Yeah. So if we have a low, I mean, we're not going to get into it because that panel's going to go up, that show's going to go up in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So that'll really get into it. But I mean, just to give you an idea, it's stuff like, how do we deal with death? When we have a loved one die and we don't have, any kind of religion to fall back on to think of, like, how do they, how do we go through life not thinking that you'll see them again, or that they're in a better place, or any of that kind of stuff. And other things. How do you deal with the fact that people will screw you over and we can't rely on karma to get them back? You know what I mean? So that's the kind of stuff we talk about.
And it will be enjoyed by your ears. We won't have that up on a video.
Right.
Unless I don't. I was going to ask you this, Pete. Maybe it's probably better to ask offline. But hey, while we're just doing the show, let's have a little inside baseball talk.
Sure.
Is it something that we could just put our logo? You know how people just have sort of a vacuous video, nothing really of video, but it's just, hey, people like to go to YouTube, so here's our audio, and we can just put it up in a video that just has a picture, or make people.
We
make
could
people
do that, but I don't want to do that because I think it's kind of cool to give the audio listeners something that
Yeah.
if they, I see, because the audio listeners always get the shit end of the stick. They're always they never get the visual gags and stuff that we have. So this one,
Yeah.
if you're an audio listener, this one's for you.
Yeah, movie poster madness. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, and we're moving away from that one.
Yeah.
We're actually, because Mike and I were talking, we're just like, well, shit, man. If we're gonna be, pimping our audio podcast portion of this, which we want, I mean, we
Right.
like, we're definitely, that's never going away. We're keeping that. It's working for us pretty well. We don't think we should have games that shut you out.
Or you know what? If we want to get feedback, what is our email address, Pete, to get some feedback? Like if you say to me, you know what? I am one of 5 people that do want you to do the YouTube with audio type of thing. If there's people out there that want it, you know what? I'm willing to do it for you. But if there's no one doing it, why am I going to do the extra work? So if someone wants to say, hey, you're doing a great job, keep doing that. Or you know what I would really like? Because, it's not like we know what we're doing. So tell us what to do.
The best way to do that is just to go to studio187.com. There's a contact button that you can send us a message. That's the easiest way.
Okay.
Because they come directly to me.
What if if they're just happen to have their email pulled up because I said something to them and they're like, oh my God, I don't want to go anywhere. What's the freaking frequency? What's the email?
All right. You can do mythwits@gmail.com.
Thank you. It's like pulling goddamn teeth. Okay, so I felt good. I felt good after our after the panel. And did we say that we had the presses? We had Bruce Press and Allie Press, the daughter ice pick, and it was amazing having them on and getting their perspective. Everyone, all 4 of us contributed, I think, equally and fairly and importantly. It wouldn't have been as successful as it was without it.
I am so happy that Allie joined us because, I hadn't even thought of that. And when Bruce mentioned it, I was like, it was an instant yes, because, normally skeptics and sciencey type stuff, the predominant, statistical predominant preponderance of participating individuals is old white guys, right?
Yes. Like yourself. Yep. Like yourself.
Yes, like me. Yes. So it was nice. It was not. It was really. I think she added a really good element because she's younger, so she had a younger perspective. She had a female perspective or woman. I don't know. Fuck. What is it? Because I get yelled at when I say female. She had a woman perspective.
Womanly. Woman. I don't know. She had a whatever that. Yeah. Well, God, you got me doing that. She had a exomal.
Right now, no, she provided a young woman's perspective on the topic, which was fantastic. Bruce, as always, very well spoken, very well versed skeptic.
As always, we appreciate those people to bring up our IQ on a panel. So
right, and then knucklehead Mike and I, right? Because because Judd Dreef, that one got out of hand.
Oh, stop it. Yes, that was a meme. Okay. So not to drone on about it. Let's see. Well, we had our very big, very awesome, positive experience. We want to put as the cookie crust now. So the creamy non-goodness that we would like to talk about our experience at Balticon.
Let me take a look at my list here and see what else is good because we could burn a few more good before we go into the bad. Maybe.
Okay.
Let's burn a couple more goods before we go into the bad.
Okay.
So the night that we arrived, right? We get to have dinner with Paul Cooley and Scott Pond and a bunch of new friends.
Yeah. And somebody, I'm not gonna put whoever it was on the screen right now, but somebody who is, may or may not be on the screen right now, showed up all late and, made the person that's on the screen now, all like, oh, you'll be okay, good. I was like, what? They're going to be late and you go by yourself. So I had to put my big boy pants on and I had to go interact with people without my social lubricant who may or may not be on the screen right now. This person, the guy with 2 thumbs, may or may not be... yes, on the screen. Who's my, I consider him my social lubricant. So without him, sans Peter. Ooh, well, that's a good, my screen name. Anyway,
you said lube and sans Peter in the same.
yes. Well, anyway,
like a mushroom, right?
in a briar patch.
Mushroom. That's a never mind.
Never mind. It's too inside. Like a belly button. And so
right. That's not a belly button.
I caught up with Paul and Scott Pond and some other people who we've kind of again became what we would call sort of our now expanded friendships, and we all went to dinner, and then I was texting P like, hey, we're at this restaurant now, and let's just show up here if you want. And he's like, yeah, I'll be there. And so he showed up, and then by the time he showed up, well, all that time I'm like, oh my god, where's Pete? And then when he showed up, I'm just like, I don't need him.
That's right.
Why
That's what I said.
Why are you here?
Right.
Who cares about what you're talking about?
Right. That's what I was saying. Because I'm like, go on, man, you'll be fine. You know all those people. He's like, boop, 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 boop. I'm just like, just go. You'll be all right. I mean, you're friends with all those people as I am. Shit, you'll be all right.
Yeah, it worked out just fine. But no, it was good. Yes. So we did. We had a nice. Where was that? Uno? Is that we went?
No, Tir na Nog or Tir na Nog.
Yeah,
the Irish.
The Irish poob.
Yeah, and a couple beers.
Yep.
Got all fired up. We didn't do anything other than that on Friday night. I mean, we just hung out Friday night, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we did that. And we went to Paul. So Paul had a reading. Paul, Nicole.
Oh, this will be a great segue.
Yes.
To the good into the bad. So we'll start with the good parts of that. That Paul had it. It was a launch party. It was which was what it was supposed to be. Was the Black Outbreak launch party.
Which is live on iTunes right now. Well, live on your the Podverse thing.
Yes, you can catch his shadowpublications.com and check his podcast out. He is reading The Black Arrival and
Outbreak.
God damn it, The Black Outbreak. Thank you.
Right. And he has two before. He has Black Arrival and now Black Outbreak. Right. And you don't have to read you don't have to read the other two. This is not this is really interesting. It's not a sequel or third book. Yeah. It's not in terms of writing it, it's the third book in the series, but they all happen at the same time in three different locations.
There's a word for that.
It's a side quill or something. I forget what the fuck it's called. A
paraquill. Oh, paraquill. I think it is.
That's it. Oh, you the man. Yeah, it's a paraquill. So he wrote three books that are all happening at the same time, and they interact with each other, but you technically don't have to read any of the other books to enjoy them. They are self-contained stories. Right. They just refer to each other. And it's cool if you've read the other ones so you know what they're referring to. Yeah. Right? Who bought the physical book so they could go to the sections when he referred to the other section and actually read it so he could follow along better?
Oh, that was our buddy Lumpy.
Ken. Oh yeah, that was Lumpy, right?
Yeah. So, all right.
So the scheduling, that's where you were going with this.
Well, yes, but let's just say that the lemonade that we squeezed out of the lemons, first we'll talk about the lemonade and then we'll go back to the lemons, is that we had a nice outdoor reading of Paul and some other supporters of Paul that Paul co-supports or codependently supporting, I don't know, whatever, that Paul was giving some limelight to before he did his reading. Our friend Laura Nicole Spencer, right?
Yep.
Gypsy in the Attic. Hi, Nicole. We love you. And she read one of her stories. I tweeted it out, or Twittered. I tweeted. Sorry, I tweeted out what that story is. So look on Twitter from the MythWits post because I don't remember it right offhand. I'm sorry, Nicole.
Now let's say that right now. Mike and I are fresh from a con for the weekend, and we're doing the con actually was also today, but we didn't go today. And then we have Memorial Day stuff that we're doing. Yeah. So we are a tiny little bit frazzled. There's not as much prep time went into the show as normal. So if we forget a name or forget something that's going on, it's because we didn't go back and write down the particulars, you know.
somebody's daughter had to be on the show. So, we had to, we're going to our prep time. No, I'm just kidding. So, yes, you're absolutely right. Now, that being said, nice outdoor readings from Laura and her new book. And then, I apologize because I do not remember the fanfic author of The Street. That's right. One of Paul's most popular books is The Street. It's so popular that the guy who never buys shit actually has a copy of The Street. So you should definitely check out Paul Cooley's The Street, as well as the Black Arrival, and the Black Outbreak. But she read she authored a fan fiction short story, and she read that, which was very good too.
And that's so fucking meta because The Street is kind of fanfic, right?
Yeah.
And this was fanfic of fanfic.
Yes.
it's like fanfic square. It was pretty cool.
It's what would you call The Street, like fan parody or fan?
It's a parody. No,
fan absurdity.
It's not really fanfic. It's a parody.
Right. So so we did. So all that's happening now. Where it starts to get nightmarish is, say, the nice outdoor reading was not in like a meadow with butterflies and like beautiful violin-esque music. I believe when Pete referenced earlier with the what was it you said in the beginning? It's something about sirens and the.
Ears still bleeding
Yes.
from sirens.
That's right. So it was right outside on Pratt Street. Anyone from Baltimore knows Pratt Street is like ground zero for ambulances, riots, just anything that happens in Baltimore usually starts from there and moves out.
This was like worldwide news. Okay, Baltimore riots. The Baltimore riots happened 2 blocks and more. Started 2 blocks from where we were, right? And the only reason they didn't start where we were is because the cops protected that part of downtown because it's the tourist center of Baltimore. You can't let that get damaged. That's our moneymaker, right? So the cops kept everybody out of there, right? Burn down every fucking thing else, but don't burn down, don't burn down the Inner Harbor.
That's true.
And
we had that. Now, what was supposed to happen is some sort of small, even if it was a small, intimate, gathering of people in a room or somewhere where we could have a proper launch party. And, these things could be done in the intimacy of a group and the, I guess, availability or the earshot without being bled, but that didn't happen, and that did not happen because of just one of the beginning of hundreds of Peter. I think the word we're looking for is program planning.
Program planning.
Faux pas, if we were going to go French.
Yeah, that's one way. That's sort of about the nicest way.
Or to excuse our French, fuck ups.
Right.
But it's like we don't want to say anything too bad because these are people who gave us an opportunity, and we would like more opportunities there. So we're not gonna sit there and trash Balticon planning, committee and everything else. I think that what it was.
This is what I'll say.
Okay.
So Jonette basically runs most of the Balticon thing, right? She was as angry as we were. So the person in charge, was as upset as everyone else. So if anybody is watching this show and they went to Balticon and they harbor some anger or whatever, just know
dissonance, good feeling.
Next year may not be the same because the person in charge of everything was literally as upset as you are.
Right. And we understood that. And someone somewhere in between, the top few and the bottom few, somewhere in between, I'm sure there was some mistakes made, and it's understood.
Mistakes were made.
And this was an entirely new venue. It was always in Hunt Valley. It was now downtown at the the Renaissance Inner Harbor Hotel, and it first time. And I'm sure a lot was learned. I'm sure, and I hope that a lot of notes were taken by the right people who can carry that on. And you know what, hopefully you and I can actually be in a better place schedule wise and everything, where we can approach them at the right time, not too early, not too late, that we can get something that will benefit us and our fans for more stuff that we can kind of do at Balticon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow, that
So
was
David's
good.
in the room. Hey, David's in the room. Right. Hey, David.
Hi, Dave.
And he's saying that we're buffering really bad. And I could have told you that because our stream status is bad and it's saying, there's going to be buffering, right? This sucks. It's something, folks, if you're watching this, I mean, only if you're watching it live. So David, or if there's anybody else that we don't know that's watching it live, apologize. YouTube has started doing this to us. It's either YouTube or we don't know what it is, but it's been like the past 2 weeks. When we go into break, which only got one more week left, we go into break, our month off. We're going to try and find out what the hell's going on and see how we can fix it because it's something new. We don't know why it's doing it. Oh, now it's good. Whatever.
Yeah. So and if that's the case, hopefully for Dave and for anyone else who's watching live, if you pause it for a little while and then hit play again, hopefully it'll have buffered enough. Like where I have the streaming software here, it's not dropping any frames, so it's probably just in between here and there. YouTube is having to hold on to a lot before it can release more. So
right.
So bear with us.
It doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't look like it's anything on our end. It looks like when it leaves Mike's computer, it's good because the software we use to stream this would tell us, and it does. It tells us when it's having issues. It's not having issues. The issue is happening between Mike's computer and YouTube the YouTube verse. So we don't know. Maybe your cable company is fucking throttling you or something.
Me? Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully not.
Right. Anyway, whatever. Let's move on.
Okie dokie. So I think the
scheduling was fucked up.
Hey, on the good note of that though, I was very nervous kind of getting closer to our event. Like, are we going to get there and they're going to say, no, you're somewhere else? And any 3 people that were going to come, to our panel, wouldn't make it because they don't know where we are now, So it was like, whew. So, hey.
Yeah, ours worked out good.
Finding positives in a sea of negative possibilities. There was, it was good.
The other panel I was on worked out, except one of the guests or one of the panelists. One of the panelists was double booked and couldn't make it, which it kind of upset me because I was like, oh, I'm going to be on a panel with Pamela Gay, like I was like, ooh, and it didn't work out, but that's fine. I mean, we still had a good panel. Yeah. She had something else that she had to do on the panel that she was double booked on. She went and did that one.
Yep.
And we handled our own. So it's cool. I mean, I don't think that, nothing against Pamela because she's awesome. She's super awesome. But, I don't think it suffered for her not being there because, I mean, there was 3 of us and we had plenty to say. Podcasters never run out of shit to say, right?
Yep. And you know what? Part of us kind of our learning curve. I put on my big boy pants and, more. We should get more big boy pairs of pants for next year. And that will be part of us reaching out to Pamela Gay and reaching out to some of the other people that we enjoyed and we know we're going to be at the con and say, hey, they're kind of, it's 5 weeks before the con, they're just now starting to put the schedule together. Anything that maybe you and I could try and get onto with a panel together, I'd love to be on a panel with you. Here are some things I like.
Dude, we can start that sooner because they send out questionnaires for panel ideas early on.
Okay.
So we could become more integrated in that. And I think next year you should be on some panels.
I do. I want to be on more.
Yeah, we didn't do that this year, but we should. We should branch out, especially with the new media stuff. You got, you're a new media guy as much as anyone else is, as much as I am.
I like media.
Right. Especially the new con. It's got shiny on it.
Yeah.
so, I mean, and that's really the only bad part of the con. I mean, there's stuff that I don't really
taking a shit at a con is never a good thing. Especially if you're taking a shit with Pete next to you at a con. I suggest not doing that.
That's so funny.
I highly suggest. If Pete says he's got to go to the bathroom, you say, "Oh, okay, cool, good, bye-bye." You don't say, "Oh, I got to go too." Let me, It doesn't matter if it's number 1 or number 2 yet. It doesn't matter. Just let him go and then come back. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, people. It's not worth it. He's a bathroom extrovert, and I am in the bathroom introvert. I'd like to say that I've gotten even better. that I'm not like I always tell you the story, Pete, when I went into the men's room and there was a guy who I used to be like who literally like went to like everyone shut the shut the engines down, everyone shut engines down, no talking, shh, yeah, everyone go in stealth mode, shh, don't talk, don't talk,
Yeah.
we're waiting. Okay, he's gone. We can continue to shit. I was not like that guy when I went in to take a shit without Pete some other time. And sorry, people, we are talking a little bit in the potty area, potty mouth, but whatever. Peter, however, is more like, woohoo! Hey, everybody! I'm in the bathroom taking a shit. Hey, how you doing there, Mikey? Woohoo! And it's
Rudy toot toot.
yeah. Oh, hey, smell that one, huh? Uh-oh. Oh, where'd everyone go? Where did Pete go? Uh-oh. Hey, everyone. I think we just lost Pete, but hopefully Pete is in this call. I don't know what just happened, but let me see if I can join him back. All right. Hey, he's back.
What happened? No, you disappeared off my screen.
I know. I have no idea what happened. We're just going to make pretend nothing ever like that happened. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Right, that was creepy.
Didn't happen.
So, no, look, what you got to understand is this is why this is funny, right? And this is why this added to my extrovertism, okay? Just so you understand, because Mike, I don't think I ever really totally explains to you, but I think you got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew this going into the bathroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I knew you would, so I wasn't going to talk to you. I didn't say, hey, Mike, how's that shit coming out? But I sat down, and for whatever reason, I was very
giddy,
audible, as it were.
Yes.
There was a lot of audibility to what I was doing. And
that's not audible. Well, I guess you could say that's audible. That was yes.
So it struck me as funny, right?
Yes.
It became funny to me because I knew I'm in there, right, right, and it became funny because I knew Mike is hearing that now, right? So then I know he's uncomfortable, which then makes it funnier. Then I start laughing and I realize this is making him even more uncomfortable. So it becomes even funnier. So I'm sitting there crapping and it's loud and I'm laughing, and it's just kind of like, what the fuck are you doing in the bed? Like, hee.
Yes.
It's so dumb.
Yes, it was. So here, switching to a different mode, 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
2, 1, and we're back. Okay. So yes, it was very difficult to just people don't take Pete to the shitter with you, right? Just don't.
It's not good for most.
It's not good for. There's no good can come of it. Okay,
because let's bring this up out of the toilet.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, so we saw our buddy Jack Clemens there, and his wife.
Wow,
Denise.
you seriously? Like there are so many things we could segue between taking a shit together and now going to Jack Clemens. Like I have to call an audible. No, but that's being pushed out. At least one more, degree of connection to taking a shit. I'm sorry.
Fine. John Smar, because we talked to him about shit. So here comes the segue, right? We did a whole episode with him talking about fecal transplants.
I'll allow
it. So we hung out with him a little bit, tiny bit. Not as much as I would have liked. I mean, he was kind of like a, I don't know, like a infectious ninja, he's there and then he's on. But we sat in on his panel and watched that. And it was really cool talking about like the next super bug that was going to hit, problems with that and mosquitoes.
Zika and your thing you told me to tweet him that I was so above my head I didn't even get it until later. So why don't you go ahead and put that out there for us? What was that now?
All right. So Aedes africanus is a type of mosquito. And it's not 80s as in the number 8 and a 0 and an S.
Right.
But that is exactly how it's pronounced. So I said to Mike, I said, hey, you should tweet him this. Is Aedes africanus's favorite band the Bangles? And Mike's like, what? So there's the 80s, right? 80s, 1980s. And then Egyptus. It was Aedes aegypti or something like that, right?
Yes.
Sorry, not africanus. Well, there is an africanus and there's a aegypti. Anyway, so it was Aedes aegypti. So then you take the 80s and then you take aegypti. So, walk like an Egyptian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that was the Bangles that sang that. So I was thinking Aedes aegypti, walk like an Egyptian
Oh
Bengals.
well, yes. Was that his favorite song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's about as. I'm glad. You know what? My ignorance saved us from that. So
no, I
good,
tweeted him
good on
anyway.
me. Oh, you ass.
I did. So you know what he?
Jeez.
Because Mike refused to tweet it. I'm like, fuck you. I'm gonna tweet it anyway. It's witty. I'll show you. You know what he
Yes.
replied with?
What?
Rim shot. That's all he replied with.
Rim shot.
Rim shot. The word rim shot.
That's good. That's good stuff. Hey, before we get to there, let's also, as we're trying to climb out of the gutter, I think this would have been even better to get to before we get to John Smar, is to say my favorite, I think my top two, or one of my top three things that we did, our panel, hanging out with Lumpy. So I will say that. I mean, let's just talk about that for a minute. Hanging out with Ken and Sam, because it's just fun. Ken is... he's more intelligent and more, he makes more goddamn money doing shit with the internet than we do, first of all. So,
for sure.
I don't know, but people don't give him enough. I don't think people like me and you don't give him enough credit. But just to sit around and talk with him, sitting outside, they smoke. I quit smoking. See? And Pete does not smoking either. So, sitting outside with them while they were and just talking and having a great time and having crazy people come up beg for money or play with his little ears that were sort of.
He had the anime ears that are like they move on their own. This fucking guy comes up, right? And he sneaks up behind Lumpy and he starts rubbing his ears, and he's like,
not his ears, but the ones that are just like right here.
The ones that are fuzzy ears, right? And you guys have seen them. If you watch our show, you're probably into the geek thing. You've probably seen these online. So he comes up and he points at me. He goes, they're moving.
Yeah,
they're moving.
Ken didn't know there was someone behind him yet. And we were all kind of like doing this, like, oh God, look out. It's too late. Your ears are being fondled. All right. And then finally, when the guy started laughing, Ken's like, what the hell?
Right.
That was great.
And the guy's like, they're moving. You see them? They're moving. We're like, yeah, dude. Yeah. And then it was he didn't stop. He just kept doing it.
And then everyone was like, did the obligatory, badge check. Oh, he doesn't have a badge. All right. He's not even the least common denominator of the con. He's under that. Oh gosh. Right. Okay.
Well, look, come on.
You don't need to say it. You don't need to say it. It's downtown. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. But and you know what? It could have been a lot worse. He could have taken a dump on Ken's head after that or something. You know what I mean? or rubbed rubbed his appendage on his ears or something. But he did. That did not happen. It was just very strange, but hanging out with them, we were pervy to the most interesting sights and sounds, and good conversation too.
Well, and Ken and Sam they're people watchers, right? They're observant.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they are.
They're very observant people, and that's what they go to Balticon for. They love going to Balticon to watch the people.
Right. Now, what have I been invited to do? And now I'm being encouraged to do.
Oh God, dude!
And I'm on the fence. I'm like, I don't know. I might take a bullet for the show. I don't know. We'll see.
So they go to BronyCon,
I think he's
based
going
out of Baltimore of all fucking places, right? Yeah. And they're trying. He loves it, man. And he's not a brony. So that's the thing. Ken's not a brony. He is going for the fun of it, like to.
And it's not. But that's the thing, me knowing Kanik for a couple of years now, and even what I've gleaned from him so far, he's not the kind of guy that's just gonna go like a what do you call it, a sports, like an athlete would go to some geek con in order to pick on people.
Oh no, he's not gonna pick on anybody. No, absolutely not.
It's just literally for the social commentary of the interesting, just the outside of his box, like. You know what? Actually, you know what, Pete? I think that you and Ken ought to go into a bathroom together and take a shit. Because I think maybe you two would have a great experience together. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, and pardon the pun, just for the shit of it. Just for shits and giggles.
Right, shits and giggles. It would be shits and giggles.
Exactly.
Now, he's fun. So we always really, like, every year, we make sure to make some lumpy time.
Make some lumpy time. That's right.
That's right. We hang out and yeah. So David says, LOL. I see furry fury in Mike's future. Well, funny you should say furry because there's also FurCon, which he's going to, which he's trying to get Mike to go to. But Mike, that might be a bullet too big to swallow, right?
Out of all the language you could have used right then and there, that was probably could have been better. And I don't know, just to add to everything that could be possibly be going on right now in my head, all the talk and everything else. I have just been received. I don't know if anyone heard that predator type noise, but I've just received a text from my 15-year-old son who is watching the show now. So, Aaron,
he is.
Yeah, great, thanks. Got that going for me. Awesome. And the door must have been open, and my bird just flew in. Wow, that's. Anything else?
Anybody, anything could happen. We got kids. We got birds.
Oh my God, Jesus! And there's a shit. Speaking of shits.
Oh man, on your cyberpunk shirt.
Oh
That's
gosh,
fucked.
yeah. Hold on a sec. Let me get
your
this
bird.
thing.
Your bird's here.
Yeah.
Whoop, there he goes.
Thank you, honey. Whew.
Oh my God, that's funny. All right, so
what an interesting night.
let's we got what do we got? Where are we? We're at 46 minutes. All right, so let's wrap up Balticon.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
there's not a ton to talk about. Not a lot of crazy stuff happening at Balticon. Mike and I didn't, for one, we didn't stay there, so we didn't spend the night. We left because it's our backyard, so
Right.
we went home every night. We didn't have a long trip, so we didn't have a trip to talk about.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that could have happened that would be funny or crazy or psychotic, like TotalCon, like driving home and getting a tire in the hood. But there wasn't really much to talk about in those aspects. The one thing I will talk about considering the stuff outside of the con, the funny shit that happens. Mike works for University of Maryland, right? Which is it's one of the.
Just don't, Leah. Just make it vague. Make it vague, sir.
Okay. No. He works for University of Maryland. It's a big medical facility. Like they do a lot of Hopkins gets all the fucking news and shit, right? Everybody knows Hopkins, right? But they should know University of Maryland as well because University of Maryland does about as much stuff as Hopkins does medically, right? I mean, they're humongous.
It's the hospital equivalent to the Bloods and the Crips, okay?
Yeah.
So Hopkins has the east side of Baltimore and University of Maryland has the west side of Baltimore. And they're kind of just slowly, parasitically taking over everything in between. Now, I say parasitically, but I mean, they're doing more good than harm to the communities that they're sort of enveloped.
No, but I'm just saying the University of Maryland is huge in the world, like in the world of medicine. There a lot goes on there.
Right.
So anyway, so Mike works for them. So I go down to pick him up. And the building where I go to pick him up, right?
Where I work is off-site from the main hospital. Let's just put it
it's
that way.
off-site.
It's somewhere on the periphery of the community.
Right, exactly. So I go to pick him up, and I'm pulling into the parking lot, and there's like all these people. It's like tons of people standing around, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this?" Right? And they're like wandering out, and it looks like a scene from The Walking Dead. Like I feel like I have just pulled up. And here they come. And they're like staggering fucking over. And they don't even, I'm not in a car. I must be in a big giant pillow because they don't give a fuck. They just walk right. So I have to like swerve around them. Right. And I pull up to Mike and I'm like, what the fuck is that? A methadone clinic? He goes, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah. So but to try and come out of this possible train wreck we just had, that there are people who are not a part of that clinic and people who are a part of that clinic. There was another clinic next door and people cross streams and the street. So that's all I want to say about that.
Right. I'm not trying to say it's affiliated with your work in any way whatsoever. It may not be. I'm just saying that's what happened.
Yes, it was very, I do agree with you. There was a sort of an aspect and a feeling, even after you picked me up and we were going to turn down the street, it was kind of like, sort of like, did we just zombies, Walking Dead? What,
I know, right? And it's, so anyway, and I guess we should say that, there was a guy named George R.R. Martin that was at Balticon. We didn't meet him. We didn't see any of his stuff, but he did happen to be there, and so there was that.
Yes, he was, and I am sure that there was no that he had no problems with his scheduling. I'm pretty sure of that. So
Yeah.
it's not something.
So let's
that
so all right, before we go, we can't go because we didn't. You sidelined me into talking about certain things. So we saw Jack Clemens, our NASA buddy, who was awesome, and he was there with his wife Denise, and we spent a little bit of time with him. Got to spend a little time with him, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to come back on the show. We're going to have him back on the show. He's very excited to come back on. We just got to find the right thing because I don't want to bring him on for game design because fuck is that, right?
But oh my God, what is the possibility that he said he's even willing for the fact that, and hopefully he won't watch this show or he may change his mind.
Right.
First of all, because I think about all the shit talk we just did, and I think how he was just pumping us up, going, oh man, you guys do such great work, and the way you do it, it's so great, and I want to promote you guys as much as I can, and I got a friend of mine, and God, I don't even remember his name, Pete, but you tell the rest of the story.
So he has a friend, and yeah, right, I don't remember his name because it's just there's too many names, too many people, too much to remember. But he has a friend, a personal friend of his, close personal friend of his, who is who was a shuttle astronaut. There's a guy that was on the shuttle who's been in space.
Yes, he has touched space.
Real life astronaut. But the guy is a professional speaker, so he gets paid to he gets paid to talk to people. So to come on our show and talk to people and not get paid is a bit to ask, and I get that. And if he doesn't, that's fine. Totally understand that. But he saw the show with Jack. Apparently he told Jack that he liked the show and he liked his appearance and everything. Jack likes our show. He's going to try and talk him to come on. We're gonna have Jack on too, at the same time. So, we might get a real live astronaut on the show. And if we do that, I can die a happy man because
pretty much that's something else off the bucket list, right?
Well, I mean, to me, I can't think of a much cooler guest to have than a fucking astronaut. They're like heroes, man. They're like superheroes, right? In a lot of ways.
To me, there's not much that could, and I don't even mean to put it like this, so pardon the pun, but there's not much that could top Bob Camp. But an astronaut, that was on a shuttle mission, that could top Bob Camp. I mean, that relegates to the top three. So, and we'll kick somebody else off.
Right. So if we can get, if he'll come on, that will be so fantastic. So we're working it. We're working it, people, working it for you. All right. And so, and Jack, if you should watch this, thank you, buddy. It was really good talking to you. And Denise, you were more lovely in person than I could have imagined.
And I humbly apologize for this particular episode that should not be accompanied with other episodes or referenced whenever you want to, tell anyone about our show.
And Pamela Gay. So we talked to Pamela Gay.
Yes.
Awesome. Good friend of ours. Well, not good friend, good associate. I mean, I don't want to jump the, barriers of
I think that, we both enjoy spending time with her. She was very busy too. I think that, hadn't we not been trying to rush out, she would have been, happy to spend more time, kind of, just hanging out with us when she was at the bar and getting something to eat. So, and really quick, oh God, do we have time to, or should that just be something we put a pin in?
Make it quick.
Okay. So Pamela Gay, anyone who doesn't know should definitely check out, what is it? Oh God, Quest,
CosmoQuest.
CosmoQuest.org, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. And her podcast with,
Fraser Kane,
please. Oh God, I'm blanking on everything. Astronomy Cast. That being, I just, oh my God, I fucked up the plug. Anyway, so Pamela Gay, everyone anyone should know in the skeptical and in the science community should know who she is. She just blindsides us with some interesting Baltimore trivia, and this will only mean anything to you if you do know anything about Baltimore, and that is that there is a street in Baltimore called Gay Street. And she said, actually, Gay Street is actually from her family I don't know how do you would say that, but her family's they're the ones who actually made or paved Gay Street and all the way down from the start of the power plant. Now there's a place called the power plant. These days, this power plant is a place with some bars and some nightclubs and things like that in there. Back in the day, it used to be an actual power plant where Baltimore got its power. This power plant was owned by the Gay family as well. And we were just like, oh my God, did she tell us some more stories about it? But just to like know a piece of that Baltimore history was just pretty cool. And that's all there is to say about
it was like, we were just like, what? That's awesome. So yeah, that was really cool to find out. And then let's see who else. Oh, Shay, our buddy Shay. Ran into her. She's she comes to Balticon every year. I think she lives in Pittsburgh, right? Was that right, Mike?
I think
you
so.
Thought
California or something. I thought she was, but I don't know. And
then of course Laura Nicole,
shit, so
our gypsy.
Yes.
She was there and she did some readings and came and hung out with us some.
Yeah.
Scott Pond, who pull up that book again, your street book. So if you don't know who Scott Pond is, Scott Pond is the guy that does a lot of these covers. So he does the Sigler covers. He does covers for Cooley. He has posters. He does T-shirts. He does all kinds of stuff. Let's see. What would be his website? Scott Pond, right?
Yes.
Let's look that up real quick.
That's
so he has some posters and stuff like that. Is a poster. You can buy that as a big giant poster.
Yes.
And it's got, I think he said like, what did he say? There was like 109.
Just look up
like,
the website. He'd rather have us post his website. Who cares about how many? But there are a lot of little Easter eggs and things like that.
Yeah, it's scottpond.com.
Yes. Scott Pond does covers. He has done covers in the past for Scott Sigler. He's done covers and continues to do covers for Paul Cooley. He's a desktop. I think I don't know. I know he's a graphics artist, and I think he does publishing too. He actually has his own book coming out. So
it's already out. No, he has the book out.
Okay, and hopefully, if you're finding it sooner than later, you'll be able to possibly tell us what
that book is. I'm waiting. It's called Mental Graffiti by Scott E. Pond.
There you go.
So it was an interesting book. He said in one of his posts that a guy picked it up and started reading it and read it for 20 minutes and then bought it and then said that it was one of the greatest books that he's seen in a while or something to that effect. I saw it in a tweet, a passing tweet. Again, folks, we apologize for not being ready. We didn't have time to prep for the show like we normally do. You can find Laura Nicole at Gypsy in the Attic.
If we spent more time prepping than apologizing, right?
Right. You can find Paul Cooley stuff at shadowpublications.com. Yep. You can also find him on the iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Check out The Black. It's really, really super, super good. Yes. Ken Lumpy has he has a podcast. Yep. Now, I was having a hard time finding it because I don't know if he told me the actual name of it.
I'm sure he did.
But you can go to icepackgames.com and find his stuff. And I'm sure you can find his podcast through Icepack Games. Because that's his website. So I would imagine he has a link there. Again, I apologize for being unprepared. Then Pamela Gay, that is, AstronomyCast. The astronomycast.org.
I think.
Just look up AstronomyCast. You'll find it.
Yes.
Jack Clemens does writing. I don't know off the top of my head. I think all right, never mind. You could just type in Jack Clemens, author. You'll find his stuff. Bruce Press has a book coming out. And he was shit. Bruce Press.
He was shit. Nice.
No, he wasn't shit. No, he's got an art book, a photography book. You can find it, Bruce F. Press photography.com. And that's his website.
And his book a picture book.
It's a picture book with pictures in it.
Sounds stupid saying that. I'm sorry, but I know that.
It's full of pictures there, Mike.
I'm sure there's a fancier word than that. I got a picture book.
I got me a picture book, Lieutenant Dan.
So if you're tired of just looking at the pictures in your Playboys, then check out Bruce's pictures. There's no articles. He just
And Allie Press, she is daughter pick everywhere. So if you want to find her, that's awesome. I think that's the funniest fucking thing, man. Her name she is daughter pick on Twitter, on Facebook,
Right.
on everywhere, Instagram. She's an actress. She does a lot of plays, and she said she's open for doing some modeling. Yeah. And then who else? Anybody else? Are we missing anybody? John Smar.
Ben Press.
Benjamin Press.
Yes, if you have a good 2 hours or so and want to learn about the latest in actual lightsaber technologies, fan lightsaber building, please contact him because he is the foremost Baltimore authority on that.
Yeah, I think so. And John Smar. Now, John Smar,
infectious disease control
at books or anything, but you can find him. He's basically at John Smar. That's JOHNCMARMD on Twitter, and he's on NPR most weeks. Does a bit on NPR, so that's pretty cool. I think he does Science Friday a lot. I think, or I don't know. Fuck, whatever.
Wow.
He does stuff. I don't know. I'm not prepared. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I know. Can I give you some advice?
Find it.
Can I give you some advice?
Yeah.
If you don't know, let's not say anything. That way we don't have to say it.
I know.
John's an awesome guy, and if he isn't doing Science Friday, he should be. You hear us, right, okay. NPR? Not that you should be hearing us, because who the hell are you to watching our show right now? There's a problem with that.
All right, and then our MythWits episode at Balticon will go up. Let's see, not the first week of June.
In a while.
Not the second, probably the second or third week of June. So it's a couple weeks from now.
Yes. And I think that's about it then, right?
Right. I think we're done with Balticon. Thank you, Balticon, for having us. It was a good time.
It was good being in you, Balticon.
Yes. And that is going to wrap up this portion of the show.
Mike? All right,
segue into the other. I gave it space.
I'm not saying anything.
Hey, we need a dog clicker. You know that.
Oh God, that was funny. It's fine. You did great, kid. You did great. I'll find a segue there somewhere. Don't you worry. So we are going to just spend a little bit more time. And you know what? I don't know how much more time we have for tonight's actual show. Because all right, so let's pick one thing. Would you rather have a little discussion on? I'm going to vote too, but we were talking about Game of Thrones or the. What the fuck is it called? The Civil War. Avengers movie. I just saw it a couple nights ago. You've seen it and you've been pressing me about it. I finally did see it.
Let's talk Civil War because I'll tell you why. We can talk about Game of Thrones when the season ends.
That's fine. I agree.
And then but we can talk about Captain America now because we talk about Captain America later.
Yeah, that'll be stupid.
All right.
Okay. So you're done. You're done now. Thanks for watching. If you haven't seen Civil War yet and don't want to know anything about it, thanks for watching. And maybe just click the audio or the video when we break it up, and you can watch this spoiler. As Pete was getting ready to say, I'm sorry for jumping on your spoilerage. So we're definitely gonna spoil the shit out of it. So that's that. Peter. Let's talk about sex, baby. No, let's talk about Captain America: Civil War. I'd like to delve into this a little bit. First, I'd like to just get your general impression. Did you like the movie, and how much? And let's just give a 1 to 10.
Okay. Let's see. I really liked the movie. I thought it was fantastic. There's a lot of really good stuff about it, and I don't think this is going to be anything where we talk to Mike, Myler, and he changes my mind by with facts.
I'd like to actually. God, I wish we could just pop him on real quick,
Quick,
but
yeah.
yes, really. But go ahead, because I think yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And I give it about, give it an, I'm gonna say an 8.
All right.
Okay. And as superhero movies go, as that genre goes, definitely a 9, right? It's still, it still sits under Deadpool,
Oh yeah.
right? And I'd have to see Guardians of the Galaxy again to see if it sits under that. But as for
Oh.
the other Marvel movies, I think it's better than the other ones so far.
So first of all, you asshole buried the lead. I don't think I didn't hear. Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy. Never mind. I thought I just heard you say you saw Apocalypse, but no, X-Men. No, okay.
I have not seen that.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, all right. Sorry, I was just like, what the fuck? Okay. All right. I actually, and I the movie industry hype machine, I think, is evil. I don't know if it's just because I've heard so much about it. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. It was so good. I was expecting something that it wasn't, but it was, I would say, wasn't as good as I thought. It was okay. I don't know, the plot. I had some issues with it, and I'm not even talking about just little plot holes or things people are complaining about. I'm just talking like I didn't like. It was okay, all right. Okay, they're starting to become this formula that these Marvel movies are having. I don't think it was in Deadpool. So I'm going to put Deadpool as something to compare this against. And I'm going to say it doesn't matter. Pete, you and I over lunch did a lot of talk about the different movie, what do you call it? Production houses and the properties to which each one owns and this and that. And I don't know who owns Captain America stuff, but it's like especially the Avenger, and I'm not sure if there's any other properties like it. But it's like there's this formula, and it's almost, now you can almost be like, okay, so let me guess, this is we're hitting this next portion. It's like almost like, all right. It's like, how you once in a while you'll go, all right, boy meets girl, boy kisses this with the girl, that boy, something happens, this and that or whatever. It's starting. I'm just starting to feel like there's that happening. There's just too much of the same, sort of just. It's like Mick movie. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like. Now that being said, Spider-Man was the best part of it. And I have to agree with you on that. You did tell me that. I loved Spider-Man on it. I think that whatever the guy's name is did a great job. The way they introduced him, the way that he ended up being, he definitely saved the movie for me.
Wow, really saved the movie for you.
Yes. Okay, here's the thing. The whole fucking fight in the first place didn't have to happen. You know what I mean? All right, they did not sell the split is where I'm at. It's just I don't get. I understand they spoon fed you the motivation for Steve Rogers, and they spoon fed you the motivation for Tony Stark. And I'll tell you, the only twist that I did like about it is the fact that yes, the Winter Soldier killed Tony Stark's parents. Okay, I didn't see that. Didn't see that coming. I liked it. That and after that, and yes. It was even for me like where it was like, okay, the big misunderstanding. Okay, it was the big misunderstanding. It's going to be resolved, and then that kind of brought. Well, actually, that saved it too. Actually, that brought back the the fight again. But now they're fighting for a different reason, and okay, that was okay. But I guess it was just like where it was left, how everything happened. I don't know.
Well, did you get the fact that Captain America knew? Like he knew.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
He had known. He had known before the movie started. He knew. He knew.
No,
like
I know.
a movie ago.
You're right.
Right?
You're right.
So, knowing that, if you go back and you look at it and you see what Captain America was doing and what Tony Stark was. Now, here's another thing about Tony Stark. Tony Stark is sort of that kind of rich guy douchebag a little bit in that. He sees the world. He gets a cause in his mind, and he's like, I've got to do this thing. Like he's driven. he's got passion, you know, he's a passionate dude.
Right.
So whenever
And
he sees something that isn't supposed to be the way that he would like it to be, you know, he'll stick his billions behind it to make it change. He's fucking Elon Musk, you know, I'm gonna change the world.
And
You know?
he's the quintessential, hey, I don't need oversight. We, you know, even from just Ultron, you know, it was just that little short time ago that he was
Yeah,
just
you know
like
that motherfucker. So I saw a meme where it was talking about how, like, you know, Captain America, or Tony's telling Captain America, Tony's telling Steve, you know, we have to be put in check, you know, because we're out of control. And the meme was like, no, motherfucker, you need to be put in control.
right.
Like, you're you are the fucking issue here. Ultron,
right?
You made Ultron,
which ended up killing her son, who was over there. See, and that's part of the problem. It's like it's too meta for it to be that important, I guess.
Well, no, that's what's funny, because Tony is that douchebag that when he sees he has a problem, it's everybody's problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's kind of a douchebag in that.
He can justify it either way if he needs to.
Right. What really boils down to is that he like, yeah, I've really fucked up. We have to get everybody under control because they could fuck up. Like, no, motherfucker, you fucked up. Right. You're the one who fucked up. Don't put that on everyone else.
Right.
You know.
And
now, mind you, the Hulk probably needs to be roped in.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, if you want to talk about how many fucking people died, right? Because of that motherfucker. As opposed to, all right, Scarlet Witch fucks up, and all right, so she launches the thing. And you know what? I forgive her. You know what I mean? She's new. She ain't know much. She did her best. I'll tell you what, she made it. She sold the whole thing, because it was like, holy shit, I didn't think it was going to explode like that. I thought I was good. Just get it up out of the way. Yeah. Well, I know it was a difficult lesson. I think, you know, that it'll make her more of a responsible person. I don't know where her whole.
All right, but come on, let's talk about some of the cool shit.
Okay,
let's talk about some of the really, really cool shit in that movie.
What cool shit? What? All right, you start with one.
All right, my favorite fucking scene in the whole movie, and it's probably a bunch of people's, you know, and like you said, Spider-Man was your favorite thing. That's not my favorite thing. I am falling in love with Ant-Man. I am loving me some motherfucking Ant-Man. Now, we said spoilers before, but this is a real fucking spoiler. So I'm telling you, if you guys have not seen it and you're like, I could sit through it. No, this is a real spoiler.
If you're not seeing it, you missed it.
If I tell you this and then you see the movie, you're going to fucking yell at me. So if you haven't seen it, turn the shit off right now. Okay. So Ant-Man does the thing where he becomes fucking Giant Man, which is awesome, because in the comics he's also Giant Man, right?
Okay.
And oh my god, that scene was so fucking awesome, because he's just like ho 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 ho, and he's swinging around Rhodey and like stepping on shit. Yeah. And I was just like, it was so funny, man. I was fucking cracking up, because it was like, you could really tell Paul Rudd sold that shit. He's like, ha ha, I'm a giant, fuckers, and here I come. And it was so cool.
All right, but now again, see, I loved what Spider-Man said. Oh my god, do you know the guy how what they did in the scene from the Raiders of the Lost Ark where they wrapped the things around his legs?
Stop it. He says, hey, you guys remember that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back, where they do the thingy around the thing's legs?
No, I could have swore he said revenge, or he mentioned. Did I? Maybe I didn't hear it right.
No, you didn't hear it right. He said Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, I thought that, because I was like, oh my god, that is so funny that he would reference the wrong movie because he's so young and stupid. Yeah. Okay, all right. But okay, so my mistake. I apologize. But even the fact that they did that he referenced that was kind of cool.
But the whole Ant-Man thing, I mean, like when he meets Captain America and he's like shaking his hand, he's like, I'm shaking your hand way too long, you know. That was funny. Then when he throws the fucking, he says, here, throw this at him, right? And he hands him this little toy truck, right? And he throws it, and the fucking thing, wong, because he had those little discs that could shoot things down, and it fucking explodes. He's like, oh my god, I thought that was a water truck. I'm sorry. Did you miss that?
No, I got it. I actually watched that twice because I'm like, What does it do? What? Because he didn't mean for it to be that big of an explosion? Because, yeah, I mean,
He didn't
Iron
wanna set the
Patriot
guy
was
on
kind of like,
fire.
yeah, Iron Patriot was like, oh, now I'm pissed. But
Right.
I'm like, well, damn. I mean, But, yeah, okay,
No.
well, water truck. But that was part of the problem is, like, the reason everything went that bad is everyone's pulling their punches. And people were, the thing that I like, though, is people were saying, you're pulling your fucking punches, stop. You know what I mean? Calling each other on it.
Right.
But it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Okay, if part, and you know me, I'm not that I'm a pacifist per se, but I'm a harmonist. Okay, among things that should be cohesive, and so it was a dissonance in my own. In my own peace of mind that I'm watching this movie where both sides of my superheroes or favorite superheroes are fighting each other in a way that Batman versus Superman doesn't even begin to touch. Some of my favorite Marvel characters are fighting each other, but again, here's the problem. And again, this is me. I don't expect anyone else. If you don't understand it, that's fine. It didn't sell me on the actual cause of the war, of why they should be so vehemently against each other, except for Black Panther. Badass motherfucker. Love him. And he was the only one I was like, yeah, definitely. It's like, I could see where if in a different situation, he might have been on the other side. But no, because he's fucking pissed. And he deserves to be pissed and passionate. I was passionate for him.
He turns out to be like one badass hero, like as heroes go, as a good, like a straight up good dude. Because he realizes that vengeance is consuming him, and that he is not going to be an agent of vengeance, because that's not what heroes do. And that was cool. That was really cool.
Yes, and it did that message in the end of the story. Yes, I got it, and it wasn't even delivered in a cheesy way. It was like, right, it was kind of like just right on, man, right on, brother, right on.
Right.
But at the same time, as that's happening, and him seeing, and then watching those two just annihilate each other, the fight scene itself was not bad as far as it being choreographed and everything. And I guess you could technically say, would you technically say at the very end of the fight, I mean, Captain America won?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say that. But at the same time,
Captain America, I mean, he knew how to beat Tony. He did it. When he crushed that fucking thing on his chest, and then he crushed his foot thing. And I thought it was really cool because they are mimicking the comics and stuff. I mean, there's stuff going on that, because I know you're not the biggest comic, like you don't collect comics and stuff.
Right.
And
it's
I
not
don't
that I'm
really
not a comic fan, but it's my time is consumed. Like you were saying about TV, I'm the same way about comics.
But see, I don't really collect comics all that much, but I do follow. I don't know how, but I know what's going on in the stories, like, because I follow along. One of the things about Captain America is that there is a point where he gives up the shield. He stops being Captain America. He throws down the shield, and he goes on and he's still a superhero, but he's like USA agent or something. I forget what it is, but he goes on and does something else. And in the movie, they do that. Yeah. And it's very symbolic. And I think it worked out really well that he realized, he fought with his friends. He fought against the United States. He was fighting against the United States, because that was Tony was on the side of the government, and Captain America was literally a rogue agent. He was the bad guy in some ways. No, in some ways he was, but then it turned out he wasn't, because then when all the information came out, but he didn't know that at the time.
But everyone has the best in the beginning of the story, right? Whereas everyone has the best intel, and everyone is so observant. But then somewhere in the middle of the movie, everyone just forgets about how to be so observant, and then everyone just wants to shoot. The government and superheroes just want to shoot first and ask questions later. But other times, we're so vigilant, and we're going to make sure we have all the information just to further whatever plot. And I don't know.
You know what though? But you have to admit that's how the American government works sometimes. We are very reactionary people.
Oh well, yes. But superheroes, well, god damn it, you're right. Yeah, superheroes are reactionary too.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's just like
Yeah,
I don't like a movie that it all comes down to, it was just bad timing. You know what I mean? Oh, sometimes, darn it to heck.
Life is like that sometimes, though. Sometimes life is bad timing.
Nerds.
Right. All right, so let's wrap it up.
Okay. All right.
No,
That
I liked it. I thought it was really good.
I
Again, definitely below Deadpool because that's going to be probably like for me, gonna be
way
super
below
hard to beat
Deadpool,
ever.
way below
Huh?
Guardians of the Galaxy. For me, yeah, Deadpool, Guardians of the Galaxy is just below Deadpool as far as,
Yeah.
perfectly done superhero movies. I guess in a way because they weren't really superheroes. They were just super people.
That's why I like them.
Yeah. Yeah, both of them in a way. It's like, oh,
Like Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, they're like the anti-Avengers.
yeah, kinda.
Right.
But at the same time, they're sort of like, yeah, well, I guess we're doing the right thing, but it's not because we want to do the right thing. It's because what other choice do we have, right?
Well, you know what they remind me of? They remind me of the show Farscape, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like this plan is so bad, it has to be one of ours, right? They're like
Yes.
fucking idiots, but
Right.
they like get the shit done, you know?
Yeah, that's true. So all right, yeah, that's it. I guess I would have to give it maybe 7, and maybe if I
Yeah.
watch it again later, it'll be a little bit different. But and like I said, there were plenty of good things about it. I can't say by any stretch it's a bad movie. And by no means does it fall into any category that like Batman versus Superman fits into.
No.
Which again, you can't say that there are certain aspects of that movie which aren't awful, but as a whole piece of work, no, it definitely, for me, same thing with like Avengers it could have been better, could have been much better.
And I will say, I was a little disappointed. Vision was so much better in the previous movie. Like in this movie, he was kind of meh. Like they did such a good job with him in Age of Ultron that in this one they didn't really do much with him at all. But I can tell you,
he had more screen time.
I can tell you for a fact that in the next movie with Avengers in it, whichever that is, I think it's the Infinity. I'm pretty sure
Infinity
it's called
Gauntlet.
Infinity Gauntlet, or is that the name of it?
I think so.
Infinity War. No, Infinity War, right?
War, right. That's where the crossover is.
The Vision is he's either I don't know. He's either gonna have a big part or a non-part because the gem on his head that
it's
makes
one
him
of the
live,
stones. Yes,
it's one of the fucking stones. He's gonna be part of the glove.
Yes.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
It's yellow. Hello, yellow stone.
No, I'm just saying. I don't know what they're gonna do with him. He's either gonna have a big part or no part, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Let me take that. Like, oh. Right. So that should be interesting. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yes. Okay. But did it for you? Because I don't know much about the Vision. I don't know with how much you keep up on the Vision. The fact that he missed, was that something like everyone sort of expected him and thought of him as like, you're just a robot. You are a calculating robot, and it's kind of like your computer. I tell you to do something, you should go to work. I clicked on you to go to YouTube, you should go to YouTube. But they fucking clicked on him, and instead of shooting one person, he shot another person by mistake. Well, what happened? I got distracted. What? Right?
Yeah. Well, so in the comics, this is probably something you don't know.
No.
Him and Scarlet Witch are actually a couple in the comics. They fall in love. Yes. That is fucking been canon forever. That's a big part of the comics.
That's a
him
thing,
and him and Wanda are lovers. So that's what they're establishing. They're building that.
And what is the power that he has to phase in and out of things?
He disassociates his molecules or something. Like he separates every atom in his body by a little bit of distance, so that now it's just an atom. He's just a clump of atoms passing through something.
Okay, so even though it's adamant, no, he's vibranium, isn't he? Technically.
Who?
Vision. Part of his structure
is. Remember what
he's at. Yeah, because that's how they did with the vibranium, or was it?
Did they? Okay, that's right. Okay.
In what the fuck was it? The Voltron, the Ultron story that they stole that, and then Ultron started weaving, and that chick was weaving like live tissue with that and stuff, building a body. So
yeah.
I guess that he is able to do that still, even though it's vibranium, to I guess move particles apart. Okay, whatever. As long as I understand the science of the fiction, I'm fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. As long as there's some continuity to the whatever.
Yeah, just explain it to me.
Splat
All right. Any other last minute things as we're trying to wrap up, and then I keep having a question pop up.
Right. All right. No. All right. So we got next week is our season finale for the mid-season. It's our mid-season finale. So
right. But you're talking about this now, and then how many weeks will it be before I get this out that someone's watching this and have no idea when this is going to fall, when next week is or last week? You know what I'm saying? I'm just you know.
All right. So today is May 30th, right? So next week is that June 5th? Is that right? Let me look at my calendar here. No, June 6th. So on June 6th, we're gonna have our mid-season finale. And that is, and I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. She's with they're a band that plays what do they do again? Do you remember? They are shit. Unprepared as usual. It's a
hey, where's your apology?
Right. It's a group. Sorry. There's a group that goes out and they dress in cosplay, and I think they cosplay and play music to like sick kids or something or some shit. I don't know, or whatever. And we'll find out next week. But it's going to be a musical guest, a cosplaying musical guest. I do know those two things.
All right. That sounds more interesting than what you just said before that.
Right. So they're going to be on.
Pete,
and that's
who do we have?
Finale.
Hey, Pete, who do we have on next week?
A cosplaying musicians.
Oh, that sounds fun. Oh, can't wait for that.
Right. And then if you're listening to the audio podcast, a week after that is going to be Cody Pondsmith talking about Witcher, the RPG, which we recorded at TotalCon way the fuck back in February, but I've been hanging on to it because we only have the audio portion. So that's going to go into part of our gap.
Which is something that you wanted to mention, and I'll just sort of bring it up and you can dovetail it, is that if you are only watching our episodes and not partaking in the audio feed of a podcast version of it, we do recommend that you at least make that available to yourself, because after we do our break, after next week's episode, there will be things in the feed on an audio basis, and so you will miss out on content if you do not go and grab the audio versions of it. Now, as I said earlier in a previous episode that will be split, that we're talking about now, though, was maybe there's the possibility that the audio stuff could be put into something on a YouTube type video, but I don't think we're going to do that. So as of right now, any audio content you do not have access to on YouTube as audio only. So yeah.
And then
great dovetail.
Yeah, right. So sorry. I was pulling up some notes here.
Hey, we can wait. We'll wait.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry that I had closed and didn't realize I had closed. So then we're gonna have the week after that, we'll have the Balticon panel that we did with Bruce and Ellie Press, and then you're going to be 2 weeks without anything. I'm sorry.
Or if I can pressure Pete, which I can't, no promises. If I can guilt him into having something that we can put out there, even if it's we get online and we talk just bullshit about something. Maybe we just talk bullshit about Game of Thrones or something, or something else, some other movie to talk about.
Maybe, but if we do, it'll only be audio. Right.
You say. So you say. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. And hey, when we come back after the break, after this break that we talk about that may or may not happen, apparently, is we're gonna be part of the TSR podcast now. That's right. We are being engulfed, enveloped, shanghaied by.
Wait a minute. I thought we were walking enthusiastically like lemmings toward them.
We are. We're actually very excited to be part of it. We're definitely excited to be part of it. I think it'll only benefit our show.
Yes.
I think it'll give us more exposure. There's no reason why it doesn't belong there. They don't have a talk show. We'll be their talk show.
Yeah, we have a talk show.
Yeah, wow. That's right. So like all the other shows on that podcast don't have none of them have the format which would allow an interview type show, to just straight up talk to fucking creators. none of them have that. So this will fill that gap. So that'll be cool.
I agree.
Especially Kickstarter stuff. So like we have these other shows in there where people are like, hey, can I come on this show? I'm like, well, it's not really for it's if you want to get your stuff promoted now, it's not a good format for that. You know, we're none of these other shows would promote you now because we would do the recording and then several weeks down the road, that recording would actually get into the feed, you know.
Hey, maybe we could do
this show's immediate.
Maybe we could do a Kickcast. A show specifically for Kickstarters on the TSR Podcasting Network. It's only one more show.
Kickcast.
Kickcast, right. Give me a break.
Well, I better get on kickcast.com. I got to reserve that now.
Yeah.
And then somebody asked us, one of our previous guests, Nicole Willett, has a request for us to maybe attend a con in September where we would be like involved in it.
Yeah.
And do some MythWitsy stuff. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes too. That's something else we have to work out. But yeah, Mike, we're at an hour and a half. Let's fucking kill this thing.
Okay. By the way, there's a kickcast.net already. So.
All right. Damn it. All right. Okay.
Oh, and bent. Bent is the right word. You were actually
bent,
right.
Not bend, bent.
Bent.
Gotcha.
Yes.
All right. I'm in. Roll the close out.
Oh, right. Yeah. Stall for me for 1 sec.
Okay. Yeah. So there's this thing that.
All right. Rolling the closer. You're good.
Okay. You've maybe enjoyed another awesome episode of the MythWits. We'll tell. It's, you know, there's been pretty slapped cast here together.
Sorry.
Special thanks goes out to all our friends from Balticon. Ken and Samantha, Paul Cooley, Scott Pond, Laura Nicole, the presses being Bruce, Ellie, Julie, Ben, Jack Clemens, Pamela Gay, John Smar, Shay, and anybody else that we forgot. Thank you. Oh, wait. Yes. DC Wilson, Day Al Muhammad, Ethan Siegel. Yes. Thanks for making Balticon an awesome experience. Eastern time to catch a full show. Jump into the chat room and ask our guests questions or just us when we bullshit. If you missed the live show, you can always catch the encore episodes and the podcast version at our website and on iTunes. You can find our website on mythwits.com and you can visit us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to like, follow, subscribe thing, blah, blah, blah. Give us a bunch of stars and all that good stuff. MythWits is a Studio187.com production and is protected under a Creative Commons license. You can download and share it with whomever you should like, but just don't change it and don't try to make money with it. Make sure to check out Studio187.com for more cool stuff. And join our mailing list. Our live episodes are edited into bite-sized bits and are released on the following week. Like this one would be the Balticon discussion on the Monday and the movie discussion on the Friday. Thanks everybody for listening. Tell your friends to tune in. And I'm not fucking around. Tell your goddamn friends to tune in. And until next week.
Mom, this is so cryptic and to anyone but you, but I'm now gonna help you with your windows.